Hello, esteemed gentlemen. The moment you stop caring what others think is the moment you truly start living. Anonymous. Ever wonder why some men seem to stir up both admiration and unease without lifting a finger? Picture this. A man enters the room, not with a roar, but with the quiet certainty of a lion in a jungle full of rabbits. The weird part? Most of the time, you don't even know why you're watching him so intently. You just feel the weight of his presence. Here's the wild fact. Most men spend their lives in constant competition for validation, approval, and attention. But then, there are the few who don't play by the same rules, who don't need to prove a thing. They're the ones that others fear, not because of their brawn or bravado, but because they exist in a way that shatters the very foundation of what most men strive for. Enter the Sigma male, the enigma, the lone wolf who makes other men uneasy without even trying. So what's the deal? Why does his very presence leave other men sweating in their shoes? What's behind the fear that nobody talks about but everyone feels? Sit tight, because by the end of this, you'll see why the Sigma male doesn't just break the rules. He rewrites the entire playbook. And trust me, you're not going to want to miss this. Number 1. Sigma males are more unsettling than threatening. Sigma males are unsettling, not because they exude brute force or overt dominance, but because they exist in a way that defies every conventional expectation of what a man should be. While most men are trapped in the pursuit of approval, seeking validation from their peers, chasing status, or fighting for a spot in the social hierarchy, the Sigma male simply doesn't care. He operates outside these rules, making him an enigma that other men can't quite figure out. And that is terrifying. Think about it. Men by nature are competitive creatures. The majority are driven by clear goals, climbing the corporate ladder, attracting attention from women, winning status, and constantly comparing themselves to others. This creates a predictable pattern that everyone can understand. People can calculate success, ambition, and social positioning based on these actions. But the Sigma male? He doesn't play the game. He's not chasing success the way everyone else is. In fact, he might not even care about success as society defines it. He is content in his own world, constantly focused on his internal goals, which are often completely invisible to others. This lack of visible ambition or need for validation leaves people bewildered. No one can figure out where he fits in the hierarchy or what his next move will be. His unpredictability shatters the illusion of control that other men hold on to. They can't manipulate him with praise, status, or pressure. He doesn't play by anyone's script, but his own. It's this mystery, this absence of a clear path or obvious ambition, that makes the Sigma male far more unnerving than a loud, attention-hungry alpha male. At least with the alpha, you know what he wants and how to challenge him. The Sigma male, he's an unpredictable force. And that unpredictability is what makes him truly unsettling. The Sigma male doesn't just exist outside the norms, he renders them irrelevant, which is a terrifying concept for men who need structure to feel secure. Number 2. Sigma males exist in a state of constant internal revolution. Sigma males live in a state of perpetual transformation, not merely evolving in the conventional sense, but engaging in an internal revolution that shakes the very core of who they are. They don't settle for stagnant growth or complacency. Every day, every experience, they are refining, recalibrating, and reinventing themselves. This constant flux is a natural part of their existence and, ironically, what keeps them grounded. For the Sigma male, the pursuit isn't external validation or achievement. It's an unrelenting journey of self-discovery, an endless process of becoming. This internal revolution terrifies other men because it's a reminder of something they can't escape, their own stagnation. Most men, in their quest to fulfill societal expectations, whether that's building a career, getting married, or winning at life, reach a certain point where they feel they've made it. They stop growing. They bask in the comfort of their self-satisfaction, content with what they've accomplished, even if deep down they know there's something missing. The Sigma male, however, never settles. He understands that growth is a never-ending process, and he's always pushing boundaries, challenging his own assumptions, and evolving. Other men feel this gap between themselves and the Sigma male. They can't pinpoint it, but they feel like they're trapped in a loop, recycling the same goals, the same ideas, and the same limitations. Meanwhile, the Sigma male is moving forward, constantly adjusting his mindset, seeking new perspectives, and embracing change with open arms. This continuous reinvention forces others to confront the fact that they've been treading water, staying comfortable in the illusion of progress. For men who are stuck in the cycle of external validation and societal benchmarks, the Sigma male's ability to break free from those constraints is not only perplexing but threatening. It's a reminder that true growth isn't about conforming or reaching a destination, it's about constantly reshaping yourself, and that's something most men aren't ready to face. Number 3. Sigma males are the living proof that you don't have to be loved to win. In a world obsessed with popularity, social media validation, and the constant need for external approval, the Sigma male is the living, breathing contradiction. He is a walking testament to the idea that success, fulfillment, and true power don't come from being liked, adored, or accepted by others. He doesn't need the applause of the crowd or the validation of his peers to feel complete. In fact, he thrives precisely because he doesn't rely on those things. This is a concept that completely disrupts the typical narrative men are fed from childhood. We're told to climb the social ladder, win affection, and chase approval as the ultimate markers of success. From the moment a boy is told he needs to fit in and be liked, he's conditioned to believe that these are the keys to happiness and achievement. Yet the Sigma male utterly rejects this paradigm. He operates on a different frequency, one that's completely detached from the need for external affirmation. His worth doesn't depend on how others perceive him, and therein lies his strength. To the average man, this is not just unusual, it's downright uncomfortable. The Sigma male's indifference to social approval forces others to question their entire approach to life. They've spent their entire existence trying to gain favor, to make friends, to be loved, and to be accepted by the very people whose opinions they claim not to care about. Yet when they see the Sigma male flourishing, thriving in solitude, achieving his goals, and wielding power without a single cheerleader, they are faced with the uncomfortable truth. Maybe all their effort to fit in and please others has been in vain. The Sigma male, in his quiet, unbothered way, reveals that being loved or liked by others isn't a prerequisite for success, it's merely a distraction. He proves through his actions that true power lies in self-sufficiency and independence, in the ability to forge your own path without the crutch of approval. And that realization? It's unsettling because it forces every man who spent his life seeking validation to confront the very real possibility that they've been playing the wrong game all along. Number 4. Sigma males disrupt the masculine hierarchy. In a world built on competition and status, most men live in a constant battle for dominance. The masculine hierarchy is a structure everyone understands. There are alphas at the top, betas below them, and a clear social order that defines a man's place in the world. Men spend their lives climbing this ladder, measuring their worth by the job they have, the woman they attract, or the amount of respect they command from others. It's a predictable cycle, a game with known rules where you fight for your position within the ranks. Then there's the Sigma male. He doesn't play by any of those rules. In fact, he doesn't even acknowledge the hierarchy exists in the first place. While others are caught up in proving their dominance, climbing the corporate ladder or seeking validation from the right circles, the Sigma male simply exists outside the structure. His power isn't determined by rank or status, it comes from an entirely different place, his indifference to these social constructs. This disruption is terrifying to other men. They can't figure out where the Sigma male fits in because he doesn't play the same game. He doesn't measure his worth through external symbols of success, like owning the nicest car or being the loudest voice in the room. Instead, he forges his own path, unaffected by the approval or condemnation of others. This shakes the very foundation of how men traditionally define themselves. When they see a Sigma male, they're forced to confront the uncomfortable truth. Maybe they've been obsessing over the wrong things, vying for dominance in a system that doesn't even matter in the grand scheme of life. The Sigma male's refusal to conform to the masculine hierarchy creates an unsettling void in the social order. Others fear this because they can't place him anywhere. They can't manipulate him with status or dominance, and they can't predict how he will behave. The very fact that he thrives without needing to fit into the traditional hierarchy exposes a fundamental flaw in the way most men operate, and that's a fear that's hard to ignore. Number 5. Sigma males are deadly accurate in assessing human nature. Sigma males possess an extraordinary ability to read people, not just in the superficial sense, but with a depth that makes others squirm. While most men focus on external indicators, body language, status symbols, and social strategies, the Sigma male is capable of seeing through all of that. He doesn't just observe, he intuitively senses the true motivations, the hidden insecurities, and the unspoken desires lurking beneath the surface. It's almost as if he's able to peel back the layers of a person's facade, revealing their raw essence with startling accuracy. This skill is both a gift and a curse. To the Sigma male, it's simply second nature. He understands that most people are driven by complex, often contradictory forces, fears, ambitions, ego, and hidden traumas. What others wear as their social armor is transparent to him. He knows when someone is pretending to be confident, masking their vulnerabilities, or using others as a means to an end. He can spot the insecurities that others try desperately to hide, and he does it all without them even realizing it. For other men, this ability is deeply unnerving. They spend so much of their lives curating a specific image, shaping how others perceive them, and trying to control the narrative of their social identity. But when they're around a Sigma male, all those efforts fall away. The Sigma sees them for what they are, no more, no less. And this, quite frankly, terrifies most men. What makes it even more uncomfortable is that the Sigma male doesn't need to make a show of it. He doesn't judge or openly confront others about their flaws. He simply knows, and this silent awareness is more disconcerting than any verbal critique could ever be. It's one thing to be told your weaknesses. It's another to have someone quietly understand them without you ever having to say a word. It forces other men to confront their own insecurities and realize that their carefully constructed personas are not as convincing as they thought. In a world where the majority of men are desperate to maintain control over how they are perceived, the Sigma male's ability to see through the veil is a power that most men can't even fathom. And the worst part? He doesn't need to do anything with that knowledge. The fear lies in the simple fact that he knows, and that's often enough to make others uneasy. Number 6. Sigma males have no fear of becoming obsolete. The fear of becoming obsolete is a constant gnawing anxiety for most men. As they age, they worry about losing their place in the world, about becoming invisible or irrelevant as the landscape around them evolves. Whether it's fearing the loss of youth, power, or status, many men spend their lives trying to maintain their relevance in a world that's always shifting. They cling to what made them important, desperately holding on to what worked in the past, unwilling to let go of outdated methods or mindsets that no longer serve them. Enter the Sigma male, who doesn't fear becoming obsolete at all. In fact, he embraces the idea of change and evolution. While most men try to preserve their position, the Sigma male thrives on the fluidity of life. He understands that stagnation is death, and the only true way to stay relevant is to constantly adapt, learn, and reinvent himself. This is the key to his power. He's not tied to any one identity, achievement, or social status. His relevance is not dependent on external validation or time. It's based on his ability to evolve as circumstances change. The Sigma male understands that the world moves fast. Industries rise and fall, social norms shift, and trends come and go. But while others panic, trying to keep up, the Sigma male simply shifts with the tide. He knows how to pivot, how to adapt, and how to find new opportunities in the ever-changing landscape. For him, obsolescence is a concept reserved for those who refuse to change. He thrives because he is in a constant state of reinvention, always looking ahead, always refining his skills, and never relying on past glories to define his worth. This adaptive mindset is what makes the Sigma male so unsettling to other men. Watching him continuously evolve forces them to confront the harsh reality that their fear of becoming obsolete is rooted in their own resistance to change. The Sigma male doesn't cling to the past. He doesn't need to. His relevance is secured not by the permanence of his position, but by his ability to evolve, learn, and stay ahead of the curve. And in a world where most men are scrambling to maintain their place, this fearlessness in the face of change is what sets the Sigma male apart and makes him a force to be reckoned with. Number 7. Sigma males don't buy into the manosphere. Sigma males stand in stark contrast to the manosphere and the myriad ideologies that flood it. Whether it's the red pill, the alpha mentality, or the latest self-help fad, these systems are designed to provide men with external frameworks to understand themselves and their place in the world. These philosophies are based on rigid, often one-size-fits-all guidelines that promise success through conformity, telling men how to act, what to believe, and how to structure their lives in order to gain power, influence, or approval. But the Sigma male doesn't need any of it. He operates independently, untouched by the prevailing ideologies that so many other men cling to in the hopes of achieving some form of manhood. The Sigma male doesn't adopt prepackaged philosophies or subscribe to any blueprint that claims to unlock the secrets to masculine power. Instead, he creates his own path, guided by his intuition, self-awareness, and a relentless drive for authenticity. There's no red pill or alpha persona to latch onto, because the Sigma male doesn't need someone else's doctrine to dictate his behavior. He lives according to his own rules. This is where the discomfort for other men begins. They see the Sigma male existing outside of the frameworks they're so attached to, frameworks they believe will give them clarity or control over their lives. But the Sigma male's freedom from these ideologies is both baffling and unsettling. He doesn't need to consume endless content about what it means to be a man or follow the latest trend in masculinity because his actions speak for themselves. His quiet confidence, adaptability, and independence are enough. There's no need for validation from external sources because he has long stopped searching for it. Other men are often left feeling like they're stuck in a loop of repetitive, tired ideologies, constantly trying to fit into predefined molds and struggling to align with one rigid philosophy after another. Meanwhile, the Sigma male simply transcends these ideologies. He doesn't waste time trying to fit into a predefined role, because he knows that true power comes from breaking free of the scripts others insist on following. And that in itself is a revolution. Number 8. Sigma males are masters of detachment, not disconnection. Sigma males have mastered a subtle yet powerful art, detachment, not disconnection. While most men mistake emotional detachment for coldness or avoidance, the Sigma male's detachment is a deliberate and strategic choice to break free from the societal pressures and expectations that constrain others. He doesn't let the world or the opinions of others dictate his actions. He's not bound by the need to conform to social norms, impress peers, or chase validation. This allows him to operate on his own terms without being tethered to the expectations of success, status, or approval that often weigh heavily on other men. But here's the twist. Unlike the emotionally detached, aloof individual who shuts people out and isolates himself, the Sigma male doesn't retreat from relationships. In fact, his detachment allows him to form deeper, more authentic connections. Because he isn't seeking anything from anyone, no validation, no approval, he is able to give his full, undivided attention and energy to the relationships that truly matter. His relationships aren't based on need, dependency, or societal obligation. Instead, they are rooted in genuine connection and mutual respect. He doesn't need anyone to complete him or affirm his worth. So when he chooses to connect with others, it's for the sake of the connection itself, not because he's seeking anything in return. For most men, this is a concept that's difficult to comprehend. They are conditioned to either seek approval or avoid vulnerability, always operating from a place of need. To form relationships, they often require something in return: status, influence, or emotional validation. The Sigma male doesn't operate from this space. His ability to balance detachment from societal pressures with connection to people is what sets him apart. He has no need to seek approval, yet he's perfectly capable of forming profound bonds with others without becoming dependent on them. This delicate balance of detachment and connection is a dynamic that most men simply can't fathom. To them, relationships are either a game of give and take or something to avoid entirely. The Sigma male, however, transcends these limitations, creating relationships that are pure, meaningful, and free from the clutter of dependency. And this ability to connect deeply while remaining entirely free from attachment, it's a trait that leaves most men utterly perplexed and a little intimidated. Number 9. Sigma males operate on a different clock. Sigma males operate on their own unique timeline, one that doesn't adhere to the conventional milestones most men slavishly follow. While society tells men that they need to hit certain achievements by a specific age, get married by 30, reach career success by 40, retire with a comfortable nest egg by 50, the Sigma male ignores all of that. He understands something that most men are too caught up in to see. Success is not linear, nor is it bound by any timeline or set of expectations. For the Sigma male, success is not measured by when or how he hits predetermined benchmarks. He doesn't feel the pressure to prove himself within the rigid timelines society pushes. Whether he reaches the peak of his career at 40 or 60, whether he's single or married, whether he's living the fast-paced, high-visibility life or quietly pursuing his goals in solitude, his timeline is his own. He moves at a pace dictated by his own desires and values, not by what others expect of him. This freedom from conventional timeframes is precisely what unnerves other men. Most people are bound by a fear of missing out on life's milestones, and they often measure their worth and progress against the clock. They worry about falling behind or not achieving success in the time that society tells them they should. But the Sigma male, with his indifference to this pressure, shatters that narrative. He implies that there is no universal rulebook for how to succeed. The traditional measures of success, status, wealth, family, are simply arbitrary benchmarks that don't define his value. To other men, this is terrifying. The idea that success isn't tied to a predictable path, that it doesn't unfold according to society's timeline, challenges everything they've been taught about how to live a successful life. The Sigma male's quiet rejection of these rules doesn't just expose the fallacy of a one-size-fits-all approach to life, it forces others to reckon with the truth that maybe they've been racing against the wrong clock all along. And for many, that's a chilling realization. Number 10. Sigma males have a fearless, subtle form of aggression. Sigma males wield a unique form of aggression that's far more unsettling than the overt, brash displays of power that alpha males often rely on. While alpha males make their dominance known through loud gestures, dominance in social settings or public displays of control, the Sigma male operates with a quiet, calculated aggression that is far more difficult to identify or combat. His form of power isn't about making a scene or flaunting superiority. It's about manipulating situations with such finesse that others are left wondering how they've been outmaneuvered. This subtle aggression lies in his ability to navigate the complexities of human interaction with an almost preternatural skill. He doesn't need to raise his voice or assert his dominance physically. Instead, he uses psychological leverage, strategic thinking, and a deep understanding of human nature to influence and control outcomes. When a Sigma male enters a room, others don't always know what to expect, but they can feel the weight of his presence. He doesn't need to dominate. He simply exudes an air of control that makes people adjust their behavior accordingly. What makes this type of aggression so unsettling is that it's invisible. It's not something people can easily pinpoint or confront. Unlike alpha males, who make their intentions loud and clear, the Sigma male uses silence as a weapon, creating an environment of respect and power without ever having to state it explicitly. When he asserts himself, it's in ways that don't always register consciously to those around him. Small, calculated moves that leave others unsure of how or when they were outplayed. It's the kind of aggression that doesn't demand attention, yet commands it all the same. This form of power is far more terrifying than the traditional, showy aggression of alpha males. The Sigma male never reveals his hand, and that's the true source of his dominance. People can't understand how he operates, and they certainly can't predict when or how he'll strike. It's this mystery, this constant sense that he's always 5 steps ahead, that creates an underlying fear. Others know instinctively that when the Sigma male decides to act, it's not about brute force, it's about complete, invisible control, and that's something they'll never see coming. Number 11. Sigma males reject the comfort of being right. Sigma males possess a profound fearlessness when it comes to uncertainty, a trait that most men would find completely unsettling. While the majority of men cling to the comfort of being right, seeking validation in their certainty, affirming their sense of worth through the affirmation of their beliefs and opinions, the Sigma male stands apart. He's not driven by the need to be correct or to dominate conversations with his rightness. In fact, he often rejects the very concept of forcing an opinion just to feel validated. Where other men scramble to prove their point and defend their stance, the Sigma male is unbothered by being unsure. He's comfortable living with ambiguity and complexity, knowing that being right doesn't necessarily equate to being insightful or wise. He's not trying to win debates for the sake of winning. He's focused on exploring the truth, no matter how elusive it may be. This doesn't mean he's indecisive or incapable of forming opinions, but that he's willing to entertain uncertainty as a valid part of his intellectual process. Unlike others who desperately need to anchor themselves in certainty to feel secure, the Sigma male thrives in the gray areas of life, where answers aren't clear-cut and solutions aren't obvious. This willingness to remain uncertain is both liberating and terrifying to others. Most men are uncomfortable with the idea of not having control over their own perspectives, let alone accepting that they might be wrong or that they don't have all the answers. To them, being right is a protective armor. They wear it to shield themselves from the judgment or the fear of inadequacy. For the Sigma male, however, comfort in being right is an illusion. It's a shallow, temporary balm that ultimately stifles growth and understanding. By embracing uncertainty, the Sigma male challenges everything that most men are conditioned to believe. His fearlessness in the face of the unknown doesn't just unsettle others, it forces them to confront their own insecurities. If the Sigma male is okay with not knowing everything, what does that say about their own desperate need to always have the answers? It's a profound shift in how to approach life, and it's one that leaves other men questioning whether they've been chasing validation through certainty instead of actual understanding. And that's a terrifying realization. Number 12. Sigma males are the ultimate outsiders who aren't miserable. Sigma males are the ultimate outsiders, and unlike the stereotypical image society paints of isolated, bitter loners, they're not just surviving in solitude, they're thriving. In fact, they are often more fulfilled and at peace in their own company than most men ever are in the chaos of constant social interaction or the pursuit of external validation. While society tends to view outsiders as sad, lonely figures, people who lack the social bonds and validation that normal men need to feel whole, the Sigma male rejects this notion entirely. The Sigma male's life is not about loneliness, it's about freedom. Freedom from the pressures of social expectations, from the need to fit into prescribed roles, and from the never-ending chase for approval. They aren't isolated by choice because they're incapable of connecting with others. They simply recognize that their self-worth is not reliant on being surrounded by people or constantly seeking validation. Their fulfillment comes from within, and this self-sufficiency allows them to operate independently and pursue their goals without the distractions or compromises that most men make in their social lives. This is what terrifies other men. The Sigma male embodies the idea that a life without constant social affirmation, a life without the typical markers of success, like popularity or public validation, could be not just bearable but actually richer, more meaningful and more authentic. It challenges the widely held belief that happiness and fulfillment must come from others. Most men spend their lives chasing approval, striving to fit in, or trying to prove they belong. because they are afraid of the void that comes from rejecting societal norms. But the Sigma male walks through life with the quiet confidence of someone who knows that true contentment doesn't come from social interaction. It comes from a strong internal foundation. This rejection of the need for constant external validation is both liberating and unnerving. To other men, the idea that someone could be so self-sufficient, so at peace with their solitude, is a direct challenge to everything they've been conditioned to believe about happiness and fulfillment. It forces them to question whether the constant noise of social life, the obligations, the competitions, the validation seeking, is truly as essential as they've been led to believe. And that realization, that perhaps the Sigma male is not just surviving in isolation but thriving, is deeply unsettling. It leaves them wondering if they've been chasing the wrong things all along. In the end, the Sigma male stands as a paradox, a force of nature who thrives in solitude, yet commands respect without uttering a single boast. He is the embodiment of what society tells men they should be, yet refuses to conform to its limitations. His path is not defined by the rules others follow, nor is it bound by the same milestones that drive the masses. Instead, he walks a trail of independence, self-sufficiency, and quiet power, leaving those around him questioning their own choices, limitations, and fears. Sigma males challenge everything men are conditioned to believe about success, validation, and worth. They reject the need for external approval, embracing instead a life driven by internal strength and authenticity. They move through the world without the need to dominate, yet wield a power that's far more terrifying than any overt show of force. Their detachment from societal expectations and their ability to connect with others without dependency confounds and unnerves those who are still bound by the need for acceptance. What's truly remarkable is that the Sigma male doesn't need to prove a thing. His life, his choices, and his very existence are a statement. And for those around him, that statement can be more uncomfortable than any aggressive display of dominance or power. Because it forces a question most aren't willing to ask themselves: am I truly free? Am I willing to live the life I could have? Or have I been shackled by my own fears and societal pressures? In this sense, the Sigma male is not just an individual to be admired or feared. He's a mirror to every man who has ever wondered if there's more to life than the scripts we're handed. His existence is a reminder that freedom, independence, and authenticity are not just ideals, they are achievable ways of living. And the terrifying reality for most men is that deep down, they know the Sigma male is right. They know that the life he leads is possible, and that's what makes him both a beacon of inspiration and a source of unease. Because to acknowledge the Sigma male is to confront the uncomfortable truth that the life you desire, unencumbered, authentic, and powerful, might be just out of reach, all because of the choices you've been too afraid to make. If this deep dive into the world of Sigma males resonated with you and challenged your perspectives, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more thought-provoking content like this. Like, comment, and let us know your thoughts, whether you agree, disagree, or have your own experiences with the Sigma mindset. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share it with them, because these conversations are worth having. Stay tuned, stay independent, and remember, living life on your own terms is the only way to truly thrive.